The manhwa opens with a fiery scene inside a bustling kitchen. An old chef stands at the counter. He scolds a young cook, demanding to know how someone could possibly turn such fresh ingredients into trash. His tone drips with sarcasm as he exclaims, "What's the secret to making such garbage?" He glares sharply, asking if the boy has lost his mind, shouting that he should teach him how to make food this bad. The chef is clearly fuming, his patience snapping as he adds that the poor apprentice doesn't even have the basics down. The entire confrontation unfolds on television, being broadcast live for the world to see. Somewhere else, the host of the show watches the footage with tears threatening to fall. He sniffles dramatically, saying he has compiled all those brutal remarks that the head chef had thrown his way, wondering how someone could speak so harshly. He admits that those words had cut him deep, almost as if he'd been sliced open by their sharpness. But the chef, watching the clip too, remarks coolly that even if words come from the heart, they can still hurt. His tone is unbothered. The host tries to keep it together, calling him Jamie, saying that Jamie Henderson might just be a formidable enemy. It's the first time he's ever seen someone remain that calm and composed in front of a live audience filled with celebrity guests. He smirks to the camera, teasing that the real question now is how long can Jamie stay that chill? The narration shifts focus, revealing that Michelin stars are the ultimate flex for any chef, the highest recognition in the culinary world, and Jamie Henderson holds 21 of them. That's not all. Beyond his Michelin glory, his credentials read like a legend's resume. His name sits proudly beside the MOF, the Order of the British Empire, and even the Legion of Honor awards reserved only for the most elite craftsmen in France. On top of all that, his cookbook has become an international bestseller. The host can't help but joke that maybe they should just call Jamie an extremely popular chef and wrap it up there. Jamie, however, knows exactly what's happening. The host is trying to provoke him with every subtle word, pushing him to break his composure, yet he doesn't flinch. Instead, he thanks him gracefully for the flattering introduction. For him, being called a chef alone is the greatest honor imaginable. The host, trying to regain control of the atmosphere, admits to the camera that he isn't sure if he can actually beat Jamie today. With a nervous laugh, he asks if they should officially start their talk. Jamie chuckles softly, giving an easy sure with that same calm air that drives the host crazy. Then, the host throws out his first question for the viewers, asking if Jamie can explain the story behind the Michelin star, something that's been mentioned repeatedly but might still be a mystery to some. Jamie begins to explain with that signature poise. A Michelin one-star restaurant, he says, offers exceptional cuisine within its category, a solid standout in its class. A Michelin 2-star restaurant takes things up a notch, offering excellent cuisine worth a détour, place so good, it's worth changing your travel plans for. But a Michelin 3-star restaurant? That's something else entirely. It's where the food transcends into pure experience, so extraordinary that it's worth making a special trip just to taste it. The camera lingers on Jamie's calm smile, the audience hanging on every word. The show's atmosphere hums with tension, admiration, and that quiet awe reserved only for those who've truly mastered their craft. The host gestures animatedly toward the camera, his tone shifting with a playful challenge. He points out that rather than hearing about Michelin stars in abstract terms, the viewers would probably prefer an explanation that feels a bit more relatable to their everyday lives. His words make Jamie pause for a moment, sinking into thought. After a brief silence, he straightens and says with quiet confidence that sure, he'll try to explain it in a more straightforward way. He begins, even with just one Michelin star, he says, a restaurant can attract enough enthusiastic customers to sustain its business comfortably without any financial worries. The prestige of that single star is enough to keep them thriving. But with 2 stars, things change drastically. The restaurant's revenue can skyrocket to several times its original earnings. The higher the recognition, the more the world notices. Then he adds, with quiet awe, that out of all the countless restaurants across the globe, there exist only about 100 that hold the rare and coveted 3 Michelin stars. He turns slightly to the host and the audience, asking with a spark in his eyes, don't they think that being one of those 100 is truly remarkable? The crowd erupts, their excitement electric. The host, unable to resist, jumps in again, pointing out that Jamie himself holds a total of 21 Michelin stars to his name. He presses Jamie with another question. Is there a secret behind his success? Because, in truth, many young chefs spend their entire youth chasing just one Michelin star and never reach it. To be honest, he adds, leaning forward slightly, it feels like Jamie earns stars more easily than others because of his financial strength and powerful connection. Jamie doesn't flinch. His response is calm, collected, and almost effortlessly dignified. Many people may think that way, he admits. However, he explains that the fairness and anonymity of the Michelin system have been strictly preserved for more than 110 years. It's a legacy built on integrity. If those two values, fairness and anonymity, weren't upheld so firmly, then the Michelin Guide's long, unbroken history could never have lasted as it has. The host smirks, quick to shoot back another question. So, he asks, is Jamie really saying that even with all his fame and authority as the world's best chef, he still can't influence getting a Michelin star? Jamie nods without hesitation. Yes, he says simply. The taste of the food itself is the single greatest factor in earning that star. No amount of wealth, status, or fame can replace the truth found in flavor. But then, in that exact moment, something strange happens. Suddenly, a bright flash cuts across the screen. A digital message flickers before Jamie's eyes. Reincarnation in 4 minutes, and time seems to still for him. The host, completely unaware of the strange occurrence, continues with a bright smile, announcing the show's final segment. He declares that they've prepared a special dish for Jamie, a dish that many young people are obsessed with these days, one riding the massive wave of Korean pop culture influence. The crowd cheers again as the lights shift dramatically, setting the stage for what's about to come. Jamie's eyes, however, remain fixed somewhere distant. The world around him sparkles with excitement, but deep inside, he senses that something far bigger than the next dish is about to unfold. Spicy tteokbokki and fries. With Sunday, the show's host laughs, announcing the name with exaggerated excitement. Jamie chuckles, amused by how over the top it sounds. That actually sounds like a really interesting dish, he muses, lifting a bite to his mouth while glancing at the camera screen in front of him. The host leans forward eagerly, asking him how it tastes, urging him to be completely honest, just as he always is in his critiques. Jamie nods, swallowing thoughtfully. He raises a brow and mutters under his breath, "Did they say it was spicy tteokbokki?" The heat hits him like a freight train, completely obliterating his taste buds. His eyes widen, watering as he coughs, gasping for breath. The crew looks confused at first until Jamie suddenly collapses, clutching his throat. Panic erupts instantly. The host shouts, voice cracking as chaos breaks out on, "What's wrong with him? Open his eyes!" Someone yells to call an ambulance. And just like that, it happens again. Jamie can't believe it. It ended like this again. If only he'd had a little more time. His fists tighten in frustration. Next time, it won't end like this. When he opens his eyes again, his lungs burn, and his whole body aches. No matter how many times he goes through this, he mutters weakly, it always hurts so much. These dog-like missions given to him have only one rule. If the mission fails, he will be reincarnated as an unknown person of an unknown nationality. No exception. Every time he starts over, the Michelin star requirement increases. Now, on his 6th life, he's expected to obtain a total of 30 Michelin stars. 30. That's beyond human. In his 2nd and 3rd lives, he spiraled into what he calls reincarnation depression, utter burnout from the endless resets. But now he's laser-focused, thinking only of how to maximize efficiency. From experience, he knows that 20 years is never enough. He doesn't even know what happens if he does succeed, but one thing's clear, he has to escape this never-ending loop of reincarnation, this hellish cycle where every achievement, every connection, every flavor he's mastered all gets wiped clean each time. If he adds up all the years he's spent across these lives, his time as a chef totals roughly 100 years. 100 years of slicing, stirring, plating, burning, failing, and rising again. And it's true he could easily earn a Michelin star now, armed with all that hard-earned skill and experience. But this time, he has to do it perfectly. No mistakes, no missed chances. This is his shot, his redemption run. And just as he steels himself, the familiar blue screen flickers before his eyes. Check your profile, he exhales, half anxious, half hopeful. Let's hope he start with something good this time. Then, out of nowhere, a woman's voice cuts through the air. Someone's calling him you. She sounds rushed. She says to him that she is busy, so can he help her slice the sundae? He replies automatically, instinct kicking in, yeah, coming. In this life, he's the son of a snack bar owner, a tiny shop sitting right in front of a bustling school, a local hangout for students craving cheap eats and laughter. And just like that, his new story begins once again at the bottom, once again with empty hands. You, the reincarnated Michelin chef, unemployed and back to slicing sundae in a street-side snack bar. You is reincarnated as the son of a small snack bar owner in Korea. The shop, tucked neatly in front of a busy school, does steady business thanks to the constant stream of students craving affordable comfort food. Sales are smooth enough for daily survival, but one thing is painfully clear. In this environment, the chances of earning a Michelin star are practically zero. He sighs inwardly. In his previous life, he had stood proudly before his parents, declaring with conviction, "Mother, Father, this may seem out of the blue, but he has decided he wants to become a chef." Back then, he could have easily enrolled in an elite culinary course, learned under world-class mentors, and fast-tracked his way to another Michelin star. But this time, things are off to a seriously rough start. The bell above the snack bar door jingled. A well-dressed man steps in, greeting his mother warmly. You recognizes him almost instantly, the aura, the faint trace of a TV host's charisma. His mother, always polite, smiles and offers the man a seat. The man starts asking gentle questions if she's ever considered reducing the menu, if running the business has been tough lately. He speaks with the kind of empathy only someone who's seen countless failing restaurants could have. "Yeah, everything on this menu is tough." That man is Beck, a renowned culinary researcher, entrepreneur, and the host of Street Food Restaurant, a hit TV show known for revitalizing struggling eateries in commercial areas. His presence in their humble shop feels unreal, almost scripted. Beck's tone shifts, filled with determination. He announces that he's going to throw everything away and start over from scratch, that he'll put his own reputation on the line to revive this business. If things somehow don't work out, he promises to join and run the shop alongside them. The conviction in his words carries weight, as if he's dealt with countless kitchens on the brink before. And just like that, their little snack bar is officially recruited as part of the Street Food Restaurant program. The cameras are already rolling. Filming began only a few days ago. You knows all too well the double-edged nature of this opportunity. For chefs and restaurant owners, exposure on TV can either make or break them. The advantages are undeniable: customers, publicity, and above all, money. Money that he desperately needs. Because to him, money isn't just for survival, it's a tool, a shortcut to reduce the time it takes to climb back to Michelin status. This is a golden chance. But like Beck implied, it's up to him to decide how to use it. Beck turns his attention toward Yu's mother. He asks if her son will try out or if he's not interested in participating at all. Yu tenses, because the truth is, the original owner of this body wasn't exactly the image of motivation. He was a student supposedly studying for college, but in reality, he drained the life out of his hardworking mother, a woman who toiled endlessly just to keep the shop afloat. He was lazy, unemployed, and content to live off her effort while wasting away at home. Now, Yu isn't sure what reaction his sudden change in attitude will draw. The expectations around him are low, rock bottom, even. But he knows one thing for certain: if he slacks off, even for a moment, he'll tumble straight into despair again. For the sake of his mission, for the sake of the Michelin stars he must earn in this life, he has to wake up and live right. Beck scoffs sharply. He snaps at Yu not to interrupt his mother, not to even set foot in the store again. Does he seriously want all the customers watching the broadcast to see him just sitting at the counter, eating and playing like some clueless kid? Beck reminds him with absolute authority that he told him to make a decision by the end of this week. If he's going to study, then he should study properly. Yu mom tries to step in, but Beck lashes out before she can even speak, his tone edged with frustration. He tells her to stop protecting her son like this, demanding what the point is of covering up for a grown man. What is she even planning to do? He asks. Doesn't Yu need to make his own decision? It's pretty obvious. Beck thinks that they have to put on this act for the TV show. They need a character the entire nation can chew out and curse at, a relatable underdog to fuel the drama. Yu, however, calmly tells Beck that he's going to do his best. He knows the power of broadcasting and how easily public perception can shift. If anyone understands image management, it's him. Beck's mood shifts instantly, excitement flashing across his face as he tells Yu that since the basics are already written out, he should just follow them diligently for 1 week. Yu mom, however, worries out loud that this task might be too much for Yu to handle. Even the broadcasting team agrees, saying that the homework seems way too burdensome for someone as stubborn as him. But Yu stays confident, assuring them that he's going to pull it off. He might look like an immature son, but behind that appearance lies 100 years worth of Smangaline cooking experience, built up through sweat and trial. With that spark of confidence, he decides to start warming up slowly. A week later, chaos breaks out at the station. The crew members are practically yelling in disbelief. That son of a snack bar. What is this? What in the world happened within a week? They stare at the screen, jaws dropped. Yu looks like a completely different person. He chops ingredients at lightning speed, his hands moving like they're powered by a motor. His motions are smooth, confident, and natural, so much that he seems even more skilled than his mother. Everyone is losing it. Oh my god, seriously, how can someone change this much so fast? One of the girls gasps before turning toward Beck, eyes wide. President, what's going on here? What kind of special training did you give him? Beck just scoffs with a knowing smirk, saying that things are going to get tough soon enough. That's when they'll see if you really practiced well. For now, the store has simplified its entire menu, cutting out everything except 2 items: ramen and egg fried rice. The tteokbokki, all fried foods, and the sundae have been scrapped completely. Every single ingredient now is fresh, crisp, and miles ahead of what they used before. Among all the dishes the mother of this small snack bar used to make, her egg fried rice had always been the best, so they decided to bring that back as the main highlight, along with a special ramen recipe that now includes extra ingredients and a rich, flavorful broth. It's all about quality this time. But the real question everyone's asking is this: can he actually pull off these 2 dishes perfectly? Because right here, right now, this is the homework Beck assigned to the son of the snack bar. And it's also today's mission. Beck leans back, watching closely, wondering just how much Yu's sense of menu design and flavor intuition has evolved after a single week of insane practice. But it seems like the line of people outside their shop just keeps growing longer by the minute. The seats are completely full, and new customers are being turned away because the orders are piling up faster than they can handle. The tension is real. How will this small snack bar owner deal with a situation like this, one he's never faced before? The girl next to Beck anxiously mutters that this is too much. She genuinely thinks it's going to be way too hard for a beginner to handle such chaos. But the live commentary doesn't slow down for a second. The guy on the mic shouts that the son of the snack bar is showing some seriously impressive meat cooking skills. He stands at the center of the heat, looking like a total pro. He's cooking with that big restaurant energy, flipping a large pan over the flame with the confidence of someone who's been at it for years. As he fries the rice, he snaps through scallions like lightning, his knife flashing so fast the camera can barely catch up. He's 3 times faster than before, and his moves are so precise that when he tosses the chopped green onions into the air, they land perfectly in a bowl placed far away. Everyone watching is absolutely stunned. Whoa! It's like watching a real chef from a Chinese restaurant, someone exclaims in awe. The entire crew is speechless, wondering if it's even possible that he practiced for just 1 week. Even Beck, usually so composed, finds himself flustered. For Yu, there's no time left for pretending to be an amateur. He has to finish his mission under pressure. No breaks, no retakes. Taking a deep breath, Yu calls out to his mother, declaring that he's starting with 14 servings of egg fried rice. His tone carries total confidence, like someone ready to prove his worth. Someone in the dining area suddenly shouts to add 2 more orders of fried rice, and before they know it, more and more people are doing the same. It's non-stop chaos, but Yu doesn't falter. He turns to his mom, instructing her calmly that she just needs to serve the fried rice on a plate, and it'll be good to go. The flow between them has flipped completely. It almost feels like the roles of boss and son have been switched. The girl from the station tugs at Beck's sleeve, pointing at the screen. She just noticed something odd. Yu added cold water to the fried rice. Is there a reason for that? She asks, curious. Beck answers with the ease of a teacher, explaining that when you fry rice with cold, leftover grains, each grain stays separated and alive. But since there isn't enough moisture in cold rice, you have to add a bit of water while stir-frying to bring it back to life. Then he freezes mid-thought, realizing something strange. He never actually wrote that detail down in the guide. That raises a serious question. How is it possible for a supposed beginner, someone who didn't even know the basics a week ago, to have such refined technique and culinary knowledge? Beck narrows his eyes, suspicion rising. Could it be that Yu has been hiding his real skills all along just to get on the show? Without wasting another second, he tells the director to come with him back to the snack bar. Meanwhile, the last few customers finish eating and start leaving, smiling as they go, saying how much they enjoyed the food and that they'll definitely come again. Yu exhales deeply, his energy calm and focused, murmuring that it's roughly sorted out now. He looks over the empty plates and grins faintly. 100 years of skill, it's the quiet magic that always satisfies his guests. For him, seeing empty plates is nothing new. Praise and recognition are just the natural outcome of a meal cooked right, and in this moment, Ban Yuhyan looks every bit the legend he was always meant to be. However, although this may seem like a beginner's skill, it is still an impossible task to pull off perfectly. He has gone through countless moments of embarrassment from the people around him, each one teaching him a little more about balance, control, and the art of not losing composure under pressure. He tries his best to maintain control over the speed and timing of every move, but in retrospect, his judgment isn't always on point. He turns to his mom with a grin, full of disbelief at his own progress, claiming he didn't know cooking could be this easy. If he had known earlier, he says, he would have helped out long before this day. After practicing hard all night, his efforts finally pay off. It worked. The limited time of 20 years suddenly feels too short. He realizes he doesn't have the luxury to keep hiding his skills for the sake of modesty or fear of judgment. Sacrificing efficiency for appearances is no longer an option. In the end, he understands that the only real path forward is the genius route, the one where he stops holding back and just shines. From behind, Beck can't help but voice his disbelief. If he really practiced all night and it worked out like this, then that's insane. He genuinely thought it was just a stage performance because he was doing so incredibly well. Now that he's seeing it up close, he can't even process the conversation they're having. It's surreal. Yu's mother greets Beck with a cheerful smile, and when he asks if her son is some kind of culinary genius, she just laughs it off. She says she doesn't really know, but what matters most is that she's so happy he worked hard today. No matter how Beck looks at it, though, the dish in front of him screams professional. It's almost suspicious how flawless it seems. He sits down, curious, and asks you to serve him a plate as well. The moment he takes a bite, he freezes, completely shook. Yu casually mentions that the classic egg fried rice recipe is usually based on soy sauce, which brings out a smoky flavor, but he felt that it overlapped too much with the only other menu item, the ramen. Beck is visibly taken aback, while Yu continues, explaining in that confident, analytical tone that when you combine the salty punch of ramen with the deep, smoky taste of soy sauce-based egg fried rice, your taste buds don't get a break. It's flavor overload. Instead, Yu designed his version differently. He purposely avoids pulling out the smoky soy sauce flavor, aiming to save both time and taste balance. There's still a hint of soy sauce in it, but the stronger notes come from butter and honey. Together, they mellow out the ramen spice, creating a harmony that feels intentional, thoughtful, almost poetic in a culinary way. Beck is genuinely impressed now, watching this whole transformation unfold like a live chef battle. Meanwhile, the cameraman, still capturing the moment, silently thinks that maybe, just maybe, it's a bit inappropriate to alter the president's original recipe like this. But honestly, watching the genius at work, even that thought starts to sound irrelevant. No matter how good you are, you should always consult the person who gave you the solution. That's just basic respect in the culinary world. But Beck, too hyped to care at the moment, is practically bouncing with excitement, dying to try this new recipe himself. The man standing nearby signals the cameraman to zoom in for a close-up shot of the president, his voice booming with enthusiasm as he declares that something so simple yet so delicious can only be made by true master. The energy in the room skyrockets. The man goes on, praising the dish, saying the combination with the ramen is absolutely fantastic, a mind-blowing harmony of flavors. His voice trembles with awe as he continues, saying it's not just tasty, it's brilliant. Amazing, really amazing, he exclaims, clapping like a proud mentor. He even remarks that Yu isn't some disrespectful kid ignoring his parents' recipe. No, this feels like witnessing the birth of a tremendous new star. And in that moment, everyone realizes he was right all along. Soon after, the broadcast explodes across the internet. The clips go viral, with countless articles and short videos flooding social media. The once quiet snack bar is now so packed that people literally have nowhere to stand. The line outside snakes around the corner. It's chaos, but the good kind. All this happens in just the 5th week after his reincarnation into this body. The profits are booming, the atmosphere electric. It feels good, no, incredible to make money like this. But even with all the success, a lingering thought nags at him. It doesn't directly help him achieve his ultimate goal. He knows he needs more than local fame. He needs to raise his profile as a chef beyond just being the guy who runs a neighborhood snack bar. If they don't build a solid reputation, they'll never have the credibility to open a real restaurant of their own. Just then, the door opens with a soft chime, and someone unexpected walks in. It's Lee. He says he was just passing by and wanted to stop in for a meal. Seeing him, Yu's face lights up with a natural smile. He gestures, inviting him warmly to come in and take a seat. Later that night, Lee walks in, spotting his colleague still glued to the monitors, eyes half open yet determined. He sighs, asking if Chan isn't planning to take a break tonight either, clearly working on the PD line all night again. He's holding a small bag. Lee came specifically to deliver some late-night snacks to help boost his friend's energy. Chan looks up from his work, a tired but amused grin crossing his face. He laughs softly, saying he didn't know his junior PD had this kind of thoughtful side. He accepts the food gratefully, thanking him with genuine warmth. Lee waves it off casually, telling him to eat before it gets cold and adding that there's actually something he wants to discuss. Chan opens the container, his curiosity piqued, and takes a bite. His eyes widen. This is really good, he mutters between mouthfuls, clearly impressed. He comments that he's never had fried rice like this before, the flavor rich yet clean. What's even crazier, he notes, is that there's no MSG just like the recipes they showcase on the show. Lee chuckles, nodding. He agrees that the taste is surprisingly good. The chef who made it, he explains, is someone who can create dishes far beyond what most people imagine. There's a spark of admiration in his voice as he admits he's almost dying to know just how much of a genius this person really is. Then he leans forward, his tone shifting slightly. That's exactly why he asks Chan if he isn't just as curious as him curious about you. Chan blinks in realization, a small smirk forming. So that was the main point all along. Lee isn't just here for a friendly visit, he's trying to recommend you for Amazing Chef Korea, ACK. Lee scratches the back of his head, half laughing, half groaning. He admits that when the topic came up earlier, he was so caught off guard that he accidentally blurted out that you would help. He sighs, saying that you is both humble and brilliant, a rare mix. But there's more to him than just skill. He has this subtle cleverness, an ability to highlight the most crucial aspects at just the right moments, showing off his strengths without seeming arrogant. His tone, his timing, even his composure, it's all proof that he's not your average guy. Lee's voice grows more confident as he says you has that undeniable star quality. If he performs well on ACK, it'll be beneficial for everyone involved. Chan muses that once someone becomes famous, the opportunities for collaboration tend to multiply. It's a win-win situation. He grins wider. An immature son comes to his senses, saves the family snack bar, and becomes a chef to make his mom proud. That's straight-up drama gold, he says. The story practically writes itself. Then, with a knowing tone, he adds that you's half and half good looks are another reason people can't stop talking about him besides the fact that he's the son of a well-known snack bar owner. His popularity's already skyrocketing online. He's even built himself a mini fandom across social media platforms. Lee nods in agreement, pointing out that it wouldn't be a bad idea to make use of that hype before it fades. Chan's eyes glint mischievously as he admits he wants to take advantage of it too. In an era where trends vanish overnight and social media moves faster than thought, what the world needs isn't just talented someone who can grab attention and keep it. Someone magnetic enough to stay in people's minds long after the screen goes dark. And you, with his story, skill, and presence, might just be that person. But the problem is that it's difficult to simply invite him to the show. Lee wonders if that's truly the reason for the concern. In Amazing Chef Korea, the brutal cooking survival challengers are selected in two distinct ways. Out of more than 9,000 applicants, 100 contestants are chosen through an intense and competitive examination. The remaining 100 are individuals with award-winning backgrounds or remarkable, specialized experiences. These special experiences often refer to those who have inherited secret techniques passed down through generations, or to master craftsmen who have been running their shops for decades. It is often said to be unfair to place such people on the same level as others, especially after it once became a major controversy in the media. Lee, however, asks Chan about the situation, learning that the preliminaries are already over. That means there is only one path left to win a cooking contest. Determined, Lee insists that they must leave one ticket for the final round during the recruitment process. You, being a star, can be trusted with this opportunity. Lee questions whether he could lend a hand since it is a request coming from his junior, and Chan adds that it would be nice if he could invite that friend as well. Even so, despite Lee's persistence, it is not easy to win a cooking contest. Chan advises him to prepare another topic in advance, just in case. The next day, on a call, Lee asks you whether he has received the envelope. Yu confirms that he has. Lee then reminds him to check everything inside the envelope carefully. He has included all the previous winners' information separately from the competition announcement. This will make it easier for you to prepare, as he can study what kinds of dishes have won awards before. Since the competition is hosted by the city rather than at the national or international level, there will be no issue with casting if he wins. This time, they are selecting 2 winners, so if he is lucky, he might just get chosen. It is his last chance to buy a ticket, so he must do his best. Still, Lee reminds him not to be too disappointed if he fails. What matters most is taking on the challenge itself. Yu knows, of course, that he expects to fail. The competition consists of 2 rounds. The first round focuses on the contestants' specialty dishes, while the second requires them to cook using ingredients provided by the organizer. There is no need to display high-end cooking in the first round. Even a basic demonstration will attract enough attention. An easy and familiar dish will do just fine. For that, he chooses a paella dish that was often served to customers during Jamie's time. It is perfect for a challenge that carries no heavy pressure yet promises great satisfaction with minimal effort. His mother tells him that it's his day off today, yet he is still cooking. Yu replies that the cooking contest is coming soon, so he needs to practice. Besides, he is only going to cook dinner. He decides to serve her a Western dish called shepherd's pie. This instantly makes his mother cheerful, her face lighting up with excitement. Yu quietly notes how she reacts to every single word he says, which makes him wonder just how disobedient the former owner of this body must have been. From now on, he plans to get along well with her. As he prepares the ingredients, she watches closely and asks if he is also putting chicken in the dish, and whether he plans to boil it until it becomes tender like bakesuck. Yu explains that the chicken will be mixed into the sauce. The rich flavor from the chicken bones will deepen the taste of the pie. He also shows her a bowl of potatoes marinated in meringue. His mother, curious, points out that meringue is made from egg whites and asks if there is any reason for marinating potatoes in them. Yu explains that marinating in egg whites makes the potatoes softer and adds a deeper flavor, while the addition of salt and spices enhances the taste of the egg itself. His mother looks at him with suspicion and asks how he knows all that. Did he perhaps see it on YouTube or something like that? Finding it a convenient excuse, Yu answers that yes, he saw it in a video by a famous chef named Jamie. In the video, the chef stir-fried the meat, placed it in a baking pan, topped it with the marinated potatoes, covered it with tomato puree and Parmesan cheese, and then baked it in the oven. When the pie finally comes out of the oven, golden and fragrant, Yu asks his mother to try it. She takes a bite, and her eyes widen in delight. She is completely in love with it. It's really good, so good, in fact, that she thinks they could sell it. She always knew he was skilled at making street food, but now she realizes he's good at Western food too. She assumes he must have worked hard, learning everything just by watching YouTube videos. Flustered, Yu modestly says that maybe he just got lucky. Meanwhile, his mother, absolutely overjoyed, begins calling people again, proudly telling everyone that her son made a delicious pie, certainly not some dog food, but a real, wonderful pie. Yu has thought about this before. It seems there are established ways Koreans compliment food. The judges go wild, saying he could sell this for a high price. None of them ever expected to taste something like this at a cooking competition. One of them blurts out that it tastes like hotel food. Another gasps in disbelief. She can't believe shepherd's pie could taste this luxurious. Another judge reaches forward to try it, tasting the sharp and rich flavor of Parmesan cheese. It goes well with the seasoned meat. The finishing touch, minced vegetables and tomato puree, ties it all together perfectly. Originally, shepherd's pie was a dish that actual shepherds ate, right? But this one doesn't even have lamb. The Michelin 2-star chef leans forward, curious. Did he use beef instead because lamb is hard to obtain? Yu calmly explains that lamb less than a year old doesn't have a gamey smell or taste, but meat from mature sheep, known as mutton, can be controversial due to its distinct aroma. It's a divisive flavor depending on people's preferences. He chose beef considering the wide range of personal tastes, as well as the location. The 2-star judge nods thoughtfully, noting that Yu seems to have used a traditional British method when cooking the potatoes. He wonders if Yu has ever lived in England, maybe studied abroad. He even points out that Yu didn't use ready-made tomato sauce but made it himself instead. Even the subtle taste of tomatoes, which could have easily been overpowering, can still be sensed perfectly. The judge laughs, half joking that he should probably learn from Yu. Yu notes internally that this judge seems quite curious about recipes he hasn't tried before. His sense of exploration is strong. Yu remembers being just like that in his second life, full of curiosity, always chasing new flavors. He seems like a junior who works hard, and seeing him smile like that makes the judge pause for a moment. Someone nearby calls him Jack. They ask Jack what he thinks about the contestant. Some of the others whisper among themselves, saying that Yu seems almost like a scam. Even if he's being called a cooking genius, there's a different feeling to his skill. They're suspicious. I mean, a young man with no reputation suddenly does this? But Jack just sits there, confused by the way Yu smiles. It's not cocky or smug, it's gentle, like a grandmother smiling at her grandchildren. Then the mood shifts. The announcer's voice booms through the speakers. When there's a survival competition, MC Min is always here and ready to go. The Seoul Culinary Contest is now starting in earnest. It's the 14th Seoul Culinary Competition. To all those who've made it this far, they're truly amazing. From 124 people, they're now down to 31. It means everyone among these 31 contestants is already incredibly talented. Congratulations on advancing from round 1. Round 2 is about to begin, the stage where they can show off their unique dishes, but this time, with ingredients chosen by the organizers. And just like that, the real battle begins: creativity versus constraint, ambition versus... And you? He's already sharpening his focus. The main ingredient arrives, and the entire room freezes. It's duck meat. Everyone's shocked. The contestants glance at each other, whispering under their breath, wait, isn't having to make a duck dish way too disadvantageous for them? There are 2 contestants who are already legends when it comes to duck: Kim Hae-suk, who's been selling duck stew and baek-suk for 23 years, and Choi Gam-soon, the so-called queen of traditional Korean clay pot duck dishes, who's appeared on multiple TV broadcasts. The crowd murmurs louder. Isn't this basically a competition made to guarantee their victory? They soon hear there'll be 2 winners this round, but that only makes them question it more. Is this even fair? The host claps for attention, telling everyone that the judges will evaluate purely by taste. No discussions about TV appearances or experience, only flavor matters. The rules are clear. So now, let's start round 2. But the contestants still aren't convinced. No way. This is messed up, one mutters. Didn't Kim Hae-suk even appear in the duck episode of MasterChef? So what, they're seriously not going to take a chef's prior experience into account? As the host signals the start, tension thickens in the air. Time is limited, and everyone's scrambling. It's no wonder they're agitated. 2 masters of duck are standing right there. For most, this round could easily turn into a disaster if they get overshadowed by another master's dish. But Jack notices something. Yu is the only one who stays calm. While everyone else rushes around, glancing nervously toward the veterans for cues, Yu moves with steady precision. As expected, most of the ordinary contestants keep peeking at the 2 masters, hoping to copy their method. They probably think referencing experts is safer than taking risks. But Jack knows it's impossible to stand out if you're just following someone else's recipe. The female judge leans forward, curious, and asks what kind of dish Yu plans to serve. He replies that he's thinking of making steak using duck breast. The other judge, the picky one, immediately frowns. Duck breast steak? That's too ordinary, too basic. Everyone's going for that. Jack nods in agreement. That's right, it's a popular and easy recipe. It's not easy to break free from conventional flavors. To them, it seems like Yu's made a disappointing choice compared to the explosive creativity of his round 1 dish. The former head chef shakes his head, saying it's not easy to distinguish yourself when your dish tastes like everyone else's. If the preparation wasn't already done, maybe the contestant could have referenced the expert's cooking to create something new. But that kind of safe play? It's not enough. You can't succeed without a sense of challenge or determination, he says firmly, turning to the others. These young contestants lack the courage to take real risks. Back in my day, having a duplicate menu meant automatic disqualification. The female judge, still calm, says she'll look forward to seeing the results anyway. She finds it impressive how Yu doesn't let any of their criticism shake him. His composure, his focus, it's rare. He's got great character in more ways than one. As she says, it'll be nice if he can show a clear difference between his dish and the rest. And if there's one thing he knows how to do, it's turn an ordinary dish into something unforgettable. The judges finally take a bite of Yu's steak. Even the former head, known for his strict standards, seems compelled to enjoy it. The female judge suddenly stands up, her eyes wide with amazement, praising that it tastes truly incredible. It may be a common steak dish, but the cooking and resting times are absolutely perfect. She admits that she has tried several duck dishes before, yet she has never tasted anything quite like this. At a loss for words, she exclaims that his cooking is truly exceptional. Min steps forward to announce that Yu has received high praise from Judge Beth. Yu has been drawing attention ever since the first round, and now, in the second round, he is once again proving his presence. However, the former head comments that the sauce is a bit disappointing. He explains that poultry dishes are often complemented well with fruit-based sauces, such as a béarnaise sauce with the addition of oranges. Yu lets out a short laugh, asking if the man has ever actually heard of a formal rule stating that fruit sauces are a required pairing for poultry. He calmly questions which cookbook mentions that as an official combination. Earlier, the same man had encouraged him to break free from biases and try something new, so Yu simply followed that advice and experimented with a different approach. The former head grows visibly embarrassed, while Min is shocked to see Yu remain so composed, even after receiving criticism. Yu inwardly scoffs, thinking that if they truly believe his personality would die with his body, they are mistaken. Perhaps the former head just wanted to nitpick because he disagreed with him, but where did that condescending attitude come from? You then asks if fruit sauces are truly an advantage in poultry dishes. He remarks that he once saw on YouTube that a béarnaise sauce can enhance the natural flavors of poultry. The female judge can't help but laugh. It's quite a rare sight to see the confident former head chef Kim Song-ho left completely at a loss for words. Jack, another judge, receives his questionnaire and asks how you manage to bring out all the sweetness, freshness, and acidity without actually using any fruit in his sauce. Yu explains that he poured duck fat into the pan and began basting the meat with honey and various herbs, which were also included in the sauce. The spring vegetables that survived the winter added a subtle yet powerful taste. He used chives and wild sesame to bring out sharpness and tanginess in the dish. To further enhance the flavor profile, he chose to serve it with carrot puree, a new and unexpected combination. Jack nods in approval, commenting that it feels as though he has learned something new by seeing you achieve such balance without relying on the common use of fruit. Min congratulates you for receiving so much praise. One of the contestants, Kim Hae-suk, steps forward as well, asking if she can try the dish. She seems deeply curious about how it tastes. The female judge, smiling brightly, mentions that if Yu is alright with it, he should feel free to go ahead. With a polite nod, Yu allows it. The dish is passed to Hae-suk, and as she takes the first bite, the room falls silent. Her eyes widen in genuine surprise. The flavors are layered, deep, and absolutely mesmerizing. To capture the pungent flavor of chives and wild sesame, and then balance it perfectly with the natural sweetness of carrots, it's a flavor combination that hits hard. The duck meat is refreshing, rich, and tender, melting perfectly on the tongue. Hae-suk, completely enchanted by the taste, laughs softly and asks a favor from Yu to teach her how to cook this dish. The crowd is shocked. Even though she's been cooking duck for over 20 years, she's so humble, asking to learn something new from someone much younger. It's not easy to have that kind of openness and humility. She's an impressive person, through and through. Yu agrees with a gentle smile, saying he'll gladly do it. Chef Jack, who's been quietly watching this entire scene, steps forward and asks Yu if he's ever thought about learning how to cook professionally. He admits he can't get the memory of Yu's shepherd's pie and duck steak out of his head. There are still so many techniques and flavors he wants to teach him. So, with a friendly grin, he asks you to please give him his contact information. Yu looks at him for a moment, his expression somewhere between surprised and amused. Oh, he seems like a good guy, sure, but the man standing beside them can't help but blurt out in disbelief. Chef Jack Kim isn't just any chef. He's a 2-star Michelin chef, the kind of person who practically breathes culinary excellence. 21 Michelin stars total. What could someone like that even teach you? And if you really did learn from him, would he actually say thank you at the end? Still, Yu knows he's technically still a beginner in the professional sense, so maybe it wouldn't hurt. He takes a small breath before answering, his tone polite yet firm. He appreciates the offer deeply, but he explains that it would be too difficult for him right now. He's busy managing the snack bar with his mother, and time is too tight to commit to professional training. He promises, though, that he'll visit the chef later when things settle down. Jack laughs, slightly stunned. He didn't expect to be turned down on the spot, but there's admiration behind his smile. Still, he insists on one last thing. He asks if you could at least share the shepherd's pie recipe with him. Just that one. His last request. Yu chuckles and agrees, not thinking too much of it. He assumes the conversation ends there, but it doesn't. Within hours, the article about Yu rejecting Chef Jack's offer spreads across the internet like wildfire. Every media outlet picks it up, spinning the story in their own dramatic ways. Lee, scrolling through his phone, bursts into laughter and shows you the headline. He asks if he really said all those incredible words if it's true. The Korean media, he says, is way spicier than he expected. He jokes that the journalists must love stories that have the perfect flavor of exaggeration, like adding MSG to drama. It's going to make you pretty tired, dealing with all that attention. Meanwhile, across the city, another chef Jong reads the same article. His face darkens as he scrolls through the comments section filled with praise for Yu. His teeth grit as fury burns in his eyes. He growls under his breath. How dare he be so arrogant? Jong thinks that even if he tries his absolute best, as a beginner, he'll still end up becoming the center of all sorts of attention. The scene cuts back to his interview, where the interviewer explains that they'll be capturing a brief statement of his determination and the daily life of his cooking through observation cameras. As a disciple of Jack, the top chef in South Korea, John already has a pretty brilliant career history. He's known as a rising star who has won various cooking competitions, and now the spotlight's on him. Everyone's curious if he's confident enough to win the ACK championship. John replies that he just wants to showcase all of his skills to the fullest. As everyone knows, if they give their best, good results will follow. But someone from behind murmurs mockingly about good results, as if trying to twist his words, asking if he's basically saying he's aiming to win the championship. And then, of course, they mention you. The gossip spreads like wildfire. They whisper if anyone has read the article, saying it seems John once asked Jack Kim how good you really was at cooking. The words hit a nerve. John's expression darkens. He's clearly irritated. He deliberately drops the mic stand, apologizing right after, claiming he just can't seem to concentrate on the interview because of the loud buzzing sound coming from some bugs. The interviewer, clearly flustered, apologizes and says the new staff members have trouble figuring out what's appropriate to say or not. He quickly assures John that he'll send them away so they can continue with the interview properly. But John's still seething inside. He thinks to himself that you's already starting to bother him even before the real competition begins. Then the show brings up another question: who's the person each contestant wants to compete against the most? One of them immediately says it's you. Everyone can tell that the production is heavily promoting him on the broadcast. Another contestant thinks it's just because you's ridiculously good looking, like straight up main character energy. They call him a genius, and the fat chef chimes in, saying he has the strong desire to beat him himself. Cut to Lee showing you the interview footage later. He tells him that he's getting pretty famous now. It's good that he's getting all this attention, but even you seem surprised. He didn't expect that everyone would end up picking him as their main competitor like this. So you knows he has to perform flawlessly after all. It's obvious that the judges will be watching him more closely than anyone else. If there's even the slightest flaw in his performance, the broadcast might end up being edited in an unfavorable way. He realizes that Lee must have brought him here out of genuine concern. Lee has even prepared the full profiles of the judges, neatly organized and handed over like classified documents. He tells you to take a good look. The judges of the ACK championships aren't just anyone, they're the top chefs in all of South Korea. Kang Yohan, the Asian disciple of Paul Bocuse, once the head chef of an 11-star Michelin restaurant in Dubai. Choi Hoon, the only Korean chef who ever earned a Michelin 3-star rating for Korean cuisine in France. And Kim A-Iran, lovingly known as the mother of Korean cuisine, a national treasure adored for her timeless recipe. Lee points out the common fields of interest these three culinary giants share. If he wants to stand out with an experimental dish, seafood would be the perfect choice. Since he used to make fast food, Lee suggests blending that familiarity with fusion elements. It might give him an edge. But his words trail off when he notices you casually folding the printed profiles into a paper airplane. Lee turns pale, clearly realizing he's going to do things his way. You thanks him sincerely for the advice but tells him not to feel responsible for him until the end. He's already decided on his dish for the first round. The contestants are supposed to showcase something they're confident in cooking, right? Lee is stunned that you decided so quickly, especially for someone who's technically still a beginner in the professional cooking world. But you just shrugs. He watches YouTube all the time, and he's learned plenty from there. Still, behind his lighthearted grin, he wonders if he really has to keep up this cheerful facade for much longer. From Lee's perspective, the anxiety is understandable. Yu's calm confidence can seem reckless. But to you, it's not unfamiliar. He's lived through worse witch hunts in his previous life. With a century of cooking experience in his soul, he knows exactly how to proceed. The most important thing now is to cook as he always does, to stay true to his rhythm. If he can just overcome the pressure standing before him, he knows the results will follow naturally. He must succeed. And now the stage is set. It's ACK, the battleground where Korea's top chefs gather to compete. Finally, the day of the competition arrives. The host, Min, strides on stage with his trademark enthusiasm. He's the kind of MC who seems to appear at every survival competition ever, never the main character, but somehow always stealing the spotlight with his flair. Min jokes dramatically, if they don't know these three people in Korea, they might as well be accused of being a spy. He introduces them one by one: Chef Kang, Chef Choi, and Chef Kim. The contestants whisper among themselves, awed by how charismatic they all are. Someone mutters that Chef Kang is known to be ruthless, blatantly persecuting contestants he doesn't like. With the introductions over, Min claps his hands and announces the first mission. The contestants must pass the challenge to earn a ticket to the next round. This round is all about their specialty dish. Everyone was informed in advance it's the one chance to cook freely, using whatever ingredients and recipes they want. Min says he's looking forward to seeing an exciting mixed rich meats, fresh seafood, even trendy vegan creation. There's tension in the air, a thick mix of curiosity and nerves. None of the contestants know what the others are making, but the production team does and they're about to reveal it. Min announces that the list of each participant's specialty dish will now appear on the screen. The room buzzes with shock as the list flashes up. Yu's eyes widen slightly. His dish is the same as Jang's. Jang notices too. He smirks, recognizing Yu immediately. Jack Kim's disciple, he murmurs, recalling the article he'd read. The thought lingers as he wonders, did their dishes really end up overlapping by coincidence? Or is fate playing its own twisted little game? Due to the unique characteristics of a scallop, there can be a clear difference in taste depending on the chef's skill level. That's exactly why Yu has chosen it for survival. But that person, Zhang, doesn't seem to have chosen it for the same reason. Yu quietly wonders if Zhang is trying to comfort him. He sighs deeply, unable to shake the thought, as the contestants are called back to their counters. Soho remarks that Yu, the so-called master of cooking, looks unusually stiff because his menu overlaps with Chef Zhang's. He'll definitely have a hard time passing the first stage. The girl beside him frowns, genuinely curious how can their menus overlap so perfectly in the very first round. It feels off, almost like Soho already knew what would happen. Soho, pretending not to care, brushes it off, saying he's done nothing wrong. Meanwhile, the boy nearby almost cries internally, silently apologizing to Soho because he couldn't help it. The scene cuts to him spiraling in panic. He's freaking out, thinking he might actually be in trouble with the producer. Is he going to get fired over this? The thought hits him hard. If he gets fired now, it'll be an absolute disaster. He can't stop overthinking how could he talk about something so serious, so loudly, in public? What was he even thinking? Just then, Jang appears from behind, his tone cutting through the air as he says that it's common sense the area in front of restaurants is a non-smoking zone. He adds that some people clearly don't follow the rules, first talking behind someone's back, now smoking where it's not allowed. The guy stammers that he wasn't smoking, that he just put it in his mouth, but John steps in coldly. He says he'll give him one chance to apologize properly, and that he's also going to ask him for a favor, one that involves Yu. Back in the present, the same guy pieces it together. No wonder Zhang asked about Yu's cooking in the first round. That's just pure madness. He picked the exact same dish just to compare himself with him? Absolute lunacy. Soho points out, amused, that despite all this chaos, Yu still wears that big, bright smile. It's almost like he's enjoying it. The guy watching thinks you must be insane choosing the same menu as the top contender for the championship? Even if he's confident, that's a little too much. The culinary world isn't a playground, it's cutthroat, terrifying even. Yet there's Yu, completely in his element, fully immersed in making his dish. He looks alive, glowing with focus and thrill. The guy has never seen a competitor challenge themselves like this before. He can't help but wonder, does Yu really understand who he's up against, considering the experience of the other contestant? Or maybe, that's exactly why he's smiling. Well, when a cute junior comes to challenge you, you should welcome them with open arms, right? That's exactly what Yu thinks as the round begins. He honestly didn't expect something this fun to happen right from the very first stage. The tension in the studio spikes as the announcement booms. Here's today's big matchup. Jack Kim's apprentice, Zhang, versus Ban Yu, the man who once evaluated Jack Kim himself. The spotlight hits the judging table where both of their scallop dishes are now placed, gleaming under the studio lights like edible jewels. The judges start with Zhang's dish. Their reactions are instant and overflowing with praise. It feels as though someone has transported a world-class restaurant straight into the studio. The flavors are clean, layered, and deeply satisfying. Zhang, already recognized as one of the strongest contenders for the championship, is clearly living up to the hype. Seeing all the judges collectively impressed like this is rare, almost unheard of. His skill is undeniable. Then comes Yu's turn. Min asks him if he isn't at all nervous about the fact that they ended up making the exact same dish. But Yu just smiles, cool and confident, saying that there's no reason to worry as long as each contestant showcases their own unique style, there's nothing to fear. His calmness is almost unreal. Zhang, watching him from across the counter, finds the attitude borderline arrogant. Where does this guy get the nerve to stand against a restaurant chef? He thinks, irritated. But the moment the judges take their first bite of Yu's dish, the room falls completely silent. No chatter, no whisper, just wide eyes and forks hovering midair. Zhang smirks, assuming it must be terrible. They're probably speechless because it's a total disaster, he thinks, chuckling under his breath. Then the verdict hits like lightning. This is a perfect taste we've never experienced before. The entire judging panel erupts with astonishment. Chef Choi leans forward, eyes gleaming, asking what ingredients you use to create such a delicacy. Yu explains that the sweetness comes from watercress. He wanted to build a complex flavor profile by using its slight bitterness, creating a harmony between depth and freshness. On top of that, he added a watercress butter sauce crafted by sautéing watercress and chopped onions, then simmering them in chicken broth before thickening it with butter. The process gave the sauce a silky, rich texture that perfectly complemented the scallops' natural sweet. To add contrast, he mixed cauliflower and peas into a puree. He explains that the peas' natural sweetness draws out an entirely new dimension of flavor, giving the dish a distinctive finishing taste that lingers just right. The judges, who initially expected a simple broccoli puree, are left in awe. The creative ingredient pairing surprises them completely. It's elegant, refined, and totally unexpected. Their decision is unanimous. Yu passes without question. Jong stands frozen, his mind blank with disbelief. Even Chef Kim himself steps in, announcing that Jong also passes the round, though his voice carries a subtle note of tension. Yu then walks over with an easy smile, holding the pass cloth. He hands it to Jong, saying it's a promise to play together again in the second round, and that he looks forward to his kind cooperation. Choi can only shake his head, completely floored. That kind of talent, it can only be described as genius. The taste was on a completely different level compared to anything he's ever had before. Even Beck joins in during the interview, laughing in disbelief. He says Yu's really amazing. He couldn't have imagined that Yu would complete the assignment he gave him so easily. He admits that Yu might even be better at understanding ingredients than he is. Ah, he says, half joking, even though he started out as his disciple, he seems to be more famous than him now. Even Yu's mom gets interviewed, her eyes shining with pride. She says he's really great. It's her way of showing gratitude to her son. She admits it's a little awkward for her to be crying so hard on camera, but Yu smiles and tells her gently that even when she sheds tears, she still looks as beautiful as a girl in her 20s. All excited, she playfully smacks his arm, telling him to come in, though he ends up slipping on the floor from the hit. She's laughing, chatting like she always does, saying she heard the recordings will be longer now that they're into the second and third rounds. She knows the food he cooks is the best, but she still offers if you want her to pack a lunchbox for him. Yu chuckles, telling her it's alright since they'll be provided food there anyway. She frowns, a bit worried, asking if it's really okay for him to work with Jong again. Yu just laughs it off. Who cares? They're only cooking on a cooking show. Wouldn't everything be fine as long as he doesn't hate anyone? There's no point in holding grudges when they're all grown adults now. He waves at her with a grin, saying he's going to record now. As he walks away, he thinks to himself, well, what can he even do if Jong hates him? If he wants, he can force himself to cook for 100 years, then maybe he'll reach the same level. And if Jong's that jealous of my skills, Yu smirks internally, then come live my life for him. Not long after, Hae-suk spots Yu and rushes, greeting him brightly and calling him teacher. She gushes that she's still enjoying the duck recipe he showed her back then. She says warmly that it's so nice to see him again after such a long time. She's grinning ear to ear as she adds, thanks to his talent, everyone except the ones who made the scallop dish got eliminated. Amazing! Yu freezes for a second, thinking, what the hell, this is so awkward. The atmosphere is thick, tense, but also slightly chaotic. Hae-suk laughs again, noticing the other's expression. Now everyone wants to avoid using the same ingredients as Yu, she jokes. Someone remarks that Hae-suk is right. With the start of the recording, the MC suddenly appears in a dazzling entrance, instantly drawing attention. The sight makes one wonder why he keeps appearing with flower petals every time, even though he is the MC. He steps forward and announces to you that congratulations are in order for achieving the highest score in the first round and successfully passing it. As a result, he earns the privilege of choosing the mission for the second round. The list of challenges for the second round consists of jagmag noodles pulling, cabbage trimming, onion cutting, radish julienne cutting, and green onion chopping. The second round is focused entirely on these basic skills. It seems that the body being used is only capable of handling a basic skill test rather than a stamina test, as heavy labor still appears difficult in this state. With that in mind, the decision is made, and the chosen task is announced. The scene turns to Hae-suk as she begins cutting onions. One of the judges approaches and observes that her skills are truly magnificent, comparable to those of a master craftsman. Hae-suk responds that it has been a while since she last had to chop onions, so it feels a little difficult. The chef judge encourages her to keep up the good work and suggests that it might be helpful if she increases her pace slightly. Suddenly, everyone notices the sound and motion of someone chopping onions at an astonishing speed. Contestant Choi's chopping skills immediately stand out as incredible, with onion pieces flying rapidly across the board. It becomes clear that he is cutting onions without even looking at them. The MC mentions that contestant Choi has said he cannot see well in front of him, and despite that limitation, showing off knife skills like this is truly impressive. The MC even notes that if he were in Choi's position, he would feel extremely proud. The MC wonders aloud how contestant Choi can even see, and Choi explains that he can only perceive the general shape. The MC admits honestly that he has no idea how Choi is managing to cook under these conditions. Choi explains that he relies entirely on feeling. This amazes the judges, and one of them congratulates Mr. Choi, confirming that he has passed. It is remarkable that he is able to cut onions so precisely even without proper vision. Contestant Choi seems unsure and questions whether he has truly passed, but the chef judge reassures him that he has shown more than enough skill. He is told to go upstairs, and he is congratulated once again. The judge then turns his attention to Yu and observes that Yu is also cutting with precision. However, he comments that compared to Mr. Choi, Yu quality appears quite normal. This causes confusion, as the size of the cuts, the minimal movement, and the speed are all clearly well above average. The judge adds that he has noted how important it is to use less pressure in order to minimize the onion juice, which makes it puzzling why he seems to be picking on Yu. The judge then explains his reasoning. Of course, Yu is doing well, but Mr. Choi, who is visually impaired and was working right next to Yu, showed no gaps in his knife skills. Additionally, Yu is the one who chose this challenge task yourself, so the judge believes that you should try even harder. This makes it seem as though he might be attempting to provoke a certain reaction. To the judge's surprise, Yu closes his eyes and begins cutting the onion as well. The chef becomes visibly worried, questioning what Yu is doing and fearing that he might hurt his hand. Despite the concern, Yu continue, cutting the onion with absolute precision. The result leaves everyone present stunned, as they witness your exceptional skill unfold before their eyes. The scene cuts to the MC congratulating all the participants who have passed the second round. He announces that the third round, which will take place on the top floor, is a team battle. It is important to note that the system for the third round is based on the entire team's victory or defeat, meaning that all members will either advance to the next round together or be eliminated together. The 8 selected team leaders will each choose 4 team members. The MC wonders why everyone's reactions are so quiet. With the third round about to begin, he urges them to cheer up and move forward to the next stage. The production team observes that everyone must be feeling bewildered and confused. It may seem as though the winner has already been decided, which could be demotivating for the rest, especially since the star created by the media has proven to be a real genius. Even from a producer's perspective, this situation is puzzling. It is astonishing how a rookie who has only been cooking for a few months is able to overwhelm top chefs. This outcome is far beyond what was expected. The PD does not even know what to keep during editing and wonders how things will turn out from this point onward. The MC then announces that Yu has passed the second round with the highest score and will be given the opportunity to choose his team members first. He asks you to go ahead and pick his members. You agree and ask for a moment, beginning to look over the contestants carefully. You think that Jong still has a sense that could come in handy. The MC reminds you that even if Yu is feeling indecisive, he need to choose his team members quickly. If he failed to make his selection within the allotted time, the authority will be passed on to the next team leader. You realize that he should not delay any longer and announce that the people who will be him are Mrs. Hae-suk, Mr. Choi, and Mr. Jong. This choice irritates Jong, and his reaction makes you feel angry. You chose him because he believed he would be useful, yet now he is giving him a dirty look. The attitude feels childish, and if this were his previous life, he would have snapped at him immediately. One of the chefs asks what criteria you used to choose his team members. He replied that he did not really think too deeply about it, but if he had to be specific, it was because he chose them in an order that would maximize efficiency. The chef finds it surprising that Jong, who is considered a contender for the championship, is the third team member chosen and wonders what that says about the ranking of the team. You respond that there is no need to say something like that and then ask Jong if he would mind standing at the back, as he still need to choose one more person and would like to ask this favor. This request makes Jong extremely angry, but he ultimately agrees. You wonder why he insists on acting so tough when he clearly has a tender heart. It would have been better if he had taken the request more gracefully. While Yu is still thinking about the next member, Mrs. Min steps forward and says that she will do her best. Seeing this, The other contestants also begin to say that they will do their best as well. The MC is confused about what is happening, as everyone seems eager to join your team. Min thinks that if she does not end up on this team, she will lose, so she approaches you and explains that although her skills may fall short of winning the championship, she wants to experience competing alongside the best team that has made it to the finals. She promises to give it her all. You respond that since she is asking sincerely, you cannot refuse and that you look forward to working together. She grabs his hand and begins crying, promising that she will definitely do her best. Now that all team members have been selected, the MC announces that he will explain the rules. The mission for the third round is that all team members must be involved in the cooking process without leaving anyone out. They must prepare a total of 3 dishes and create a main dish using the given ingredients. He then reveals the main ingredient, which turns out to be flour. Hae-suk comments that flour would be perfect for warm handmade sujibi, while Mr. Choi prefers kalguksu. However, they both agree that following the team leader's decision is usually the best course of action. John says that he would prefer pasta, and several side dishes also come to his mind. Min calls out to you, asking what they should do since everyone has differing opinions. He suggests making tteokbokki, kimbap, and fried food. This suggestion confuses the other contestant. Min questions how he can say something like that so comfortably, pointing out that it is simply everyday food. John then asks whether you have a specific reason for suggesting these dishes. You explain that instead of spending too much time selecting elaborate menus, he chose quick and efficient food options. It is also the type of cooking he are most confident in. Min responds that while time efficiency is a valid point, it is surprising how casually he decided without seeming to think much about it. He then reminds her that she said she would follow his lead, and since team members cannot be changed at this stage, he believes that settles the matter. She immediately agrees again and says she will do her best. Hae-suk also agrees, stating that if this is what the team leader wants, they should follow the decision. Mr. Choi supports this as well, saying that they should trust their team leader, especially since he has passed every round in first place. Min notes that while other teams appear to be making fancy dishes, they are choosing familiar Korean fast food, and she wonders whether this approach can really outperform the other teams. You step forward confidently and say that they should tackle the challenge with full vigor and commitment. Just as the presence of a conductor is essential in music, there needs to be someone in the kitchen who orchestrates the overall taste even before the dishes come together. Jamie naturally fills this role. Even before his rise, his temperament is fiery from constantly ordering people around. However, beneath that sharp edge he is a kind, friendly, almost flirtatious chef who understands both people and food. He carefully assigns tasks, asking Mr. Choi to take charge of the rice cakes. The priority, he knows, is to remove the unpleasant flour smell first. Since there is not enough time for proper dough fermentation or for using dashi broth, he decides that bean powder can be added to minimize the odor and balance the base flavor. At the same time, he considers building complexity elsewhere. He proposes combining kimchi with tomato yaki, adding ground shrimp and charred pickled radish to create a new flavor profile and bring out a layered texture. As eggs are poured into a pan, he signals that the mint taco cream sauce needs to be prepared immediately. The dish they are creating is a form of gimbap, made by spreading mint taco cream sauce over a Japanese-style rolled omelette and then wrapping it in seaweed. The key point is to neutralize tteokbokki's strong flavor, making the overall dish gentler on the palate. For Hae-suk, he requests that all the necessary ingredients be prepared without delay so the flow of cooking is not interrupted. Once Mr. Choi finishes the rice cakes, the next step is the tteokbokki sauce. It can be made by combining red pepper powder, starch syrup, ketchup, and curry powder. Hae-suk wonders internally whether she can really manage it, but Yu remains confident. He reassures himself that it will turn out well, since he plans to taste along the way and give feedback. After all, she is already skilled, and guidance will be enough. Elsewhere in the kitchen, Min calls out, checking whether things are going well. The tension briefly flares, making you feel irritated, almost as if someone is making fried food for dogs. Still, he knows he must stay calm. This is Jamie speaking, and he does not need to lose his mind. He is still like a newborn in this competition, with 0 additional stars, and he has to present himself carefully. He approaches Min and points out that there is too much moisture in the batter for the fried food, offering to demonstrate and show the correct method. He explains that squid can be peeled easily by rubbing it with a cloth and using the grip it provides to pull the skin away. Shrimp are just as simple. By folding back the third segment, the shell can be removed cleanly. After removing the entrails, it is important to press the shrimp with a kitchen towel to eliminate excess moisture. He also emphasizes that cold water should always be used when making batter for fried foods, as this creates a crisp texture that contrasts well with dishes like tteokbokki and gimbap. With this lesson complete, he asks her to try again. Min watches closely and thinks that Yu is unbelievably fast, realizing once more that he truly is a genius. With this pace, there should be no problems with time management. Now, the real challenge lies in balancing the overall taste. Yu remains ready to personally step in if the seasoning is not done properly, fully aware that leadership sometimes means taking responsibility at the final moment. The production team carefully sets up the stage to highlight his charisma as a leader. Since they have stepped into a survival program, he intends to use this to his advantage and position himself as the most dramatic protagonist. He begins clapping, urging everyone to pick up the pace just a little more. Even the judges notice that his team is clearly standing out compared to the others, who are rushing around in disarray. One of the female judges questions whether he is truly the son of a snack bar owner, noting that he seems to have done this many times before. Dividing tasks like a restaurant head chef requires a level of skill that only comes from experience, leading her to wonder how on earth he acquired it. The broadcast cuts to show the judges' intense interest as the team continues to progress smoothly, though the atmosphere within the group does not feel entirely positive. A concern arises that the alcohol in the mirin has not been properly evaporated. To address this, Yu determines that the mixture must be strained thoroughly through a sieve to remove any impurities. He offers an apology, yet asks John to do it again. Upon reviewing the dish, he realizes that it seems she has added too much ketchup. She understands that ketchup should only be used in a small amount, just enough to bring out the flavor, not overpower it. It also becomes clear that the shrimp powder has been left out, which explains the missing depth and taste. In addition, he instructs her to coat the squid with potato starch to prevent the batter from peeling off during frying. The batter should be sprinkled gradually over the ingredients rather than poured all at once, ensuring even coverage and better texture. Meanwhile, the MC shouts in disbelief that these mid-level chefs are taking orders with ease from a chef who has less than a year of cooking experience. It becomes evident that experience alone is nothing more than a fragile bubble. What truly matters are skills and results. Yu has earned the head chef position purely through his ability. He reflects on what all the chatter really means. Chefs can cook however they like, but if the food tastes bad, their image will be ruined instantly. That is why caution is essential. It is natural to try to improve the taste if time allows, and at this moment his team is clearly ahead of everyone else. Because of that advantage, he asks the team to trust him just a little more. Finally, after countless errors and repeated trials, he rings the bell, signaling that the team's dishes are complete. The judges are visibly pleased when they see the spread laid out before them. As they begin tasting, they initially think it is ordinary tteokbokki, but the moment the flavor hits, it feels as if the judge has encountered the most perfect tteokbokki of his entire life. The dish is so good that he cannot even remember the tteokbokki his mother used to make for him when he was a child. The flavor is powerful and memorable, far beyond expectation. The judges admit that they did not expect this team to perform so well in the team competition. What stands out is that the dish showcases excellent basic skills. It is not just a collection of individual dishes, but rather a complete meal course with a clear story behind it. It feels as though they are embarking on a journey of taste and texture. The fried dishes are also exceptional, not too greasy and perfectly crisp, making every bite enjoyable. The judges congratulate Yu, noting that his team is a great combination and that everything came together flawlessly. As a result, he passes the challenge. Min rushes over and hugs him, excited that the judges liked her fried food. Haesok laughs confidently, saying that she knew they were going to win, praising just how amazing their team leader is. Jong, though still reluctant, admits that even if he does not like it, a win is still a win. Yu takes this as a rough form of gratitude, thinking to himself that Jong truly is a stubborn person. After the judging concludes, all 4 teams advance, and the MC congratulates them for making it this far. They are encouraged to taste the dishes created by the other teams. Min goes over to observe another team's dish and notices that the ingredients are arranged in a clever way, making them easy to wrap in a tortilla. It is a smart idea that ensures the flour component is included properly, allowing for easy consumption. Min asks Yu whether he is not going to try some as well. He explains that his stomach is already full from earlier, since he had been tasting and checking the seasoning throughout the cooking process. In truth, just by looking at how the dish was cooked, he can already tell how terrible it will taste. Still, he keeps his word internally, even though he knows he cannot bring himself to eat it. At that moment, the MC suddenly asks everyone to stop where they are, announcing that the next round is about to begin. The next mission is to imitate another team's cooking. Since the entire team is standing in front of the taco dish, they are instructed to recreate it in the style of their own theme. The broadcast emphasizes that the thrilling team showdown is continuing, and with that announcement, the teams are told to get started immediately. The other team members appear hesitant, and their reluctance immediately draws attention. The MC raises his voice, questioning what is going on and pointing out that no one is gathering around the table of the team that has received an excellent evaluation.